Now, typically, if you see someone spilling some water in your cafeteria, you tend to see stuff like this, right? They'll put up these things and say caution, wet, liquid, and then someone's going to come by and clean it up. Is that typical in your shop? You see that? Yep. So it's interesting because we're very focused on protecting our physical safety, right? But in software development, I think we're really, really in the primitive stages still. Now, we in our company do test-driven development and continuous integration and continuous deployment and all of these wonderful practices, refactoring. We're really proud of our software development. However, we're not perfect. And we were having some concurrency exceptions in our logs. As people started using the browsers in new ways, they'd have like 15 tabs open to different parts of our e-learning. They'd shut down their browser, bring it back up, and all of a sudden you have 15 threads hitting your server at the same time. Well, you can end up with some concurrency problems. And we did. And we were having some exceptions. It was getting to a point where it was getting uncomfortable. We were getting enough emails per day, it was like interrupting our flow, right? So back around, I think it was last year, around December of last year, I said, we got a year before December, so about a year and change ago. We said, let's kill the noise. Let's deal with this problem. It's enough, okay? So, the first thing you do, and of course we did, right? If you see those giant red lines there, those are bots. Bots come along and wreak havoc, and we've since fixed that so that doesn't happen anymore. So it's gotten really quiet if you look at the tail end of things there. And we've had more users hitting the system than ever before. So more users and far fewer exceptions, okay, around concurrency. So we fixed the problem. But let's go back in time. This is what the code looked like. This is an exception from 2010. That was in our logs, and that's what the code looked like. Do any of you see a problem with that code? You're seeing a view of it in, we were using Eclipse at the time. We're using IntelliJ now, but we were using Eclipse, so that's Eclipse. Does anyone see an issue there? Because this is what we saw. When we would go and look at the logs, we would then say, oh, it's the problem is happening in the screencast download action. At least one problem is happening there. So let's go look at the code. Now, this is not meant to be a coding quiz here for you, sorry. But there is a major problem in this code. There's a major problem even with Eclipse and how it's showing us this code. You want to know what the problem is? The problem is that the code should not look like that at all. Eclipse should not show us the code like that at all. This is the big problem. Here's what it should look like. This is what I should see in Eclipse. Okay? This is what I should see. How is it possible that I see it this way? Can anyone tell me? Why is it that it looks like that instead of like this? What's missing? We can't tie it back. We're completely disconnected from production. There's all this data hitting production that's very, very valuable and that's saying something about our safety, and we don't see it unless we really go digging around to look. In fact, the next manager, the product manager, comes along and says, well, there's this new feature that we think is going to be extremely important, and we need it in 2 weeks. And basically, we can't say, get out of here. We got a bigger problem, okay? You see the yellow cones? We got a problem. Go away. That's what it should look like. So we're not even protecting ourselves when it comes down to code. It's just this primitive, basic stuff. If we're having problems in production and we can't even see it in the regular tools we're working, then we don't have something that's basic in the safety field. When people work in construction sites or electrical sites, whatever it is, they have eye protection, head protection, shoe protection. It's called PPE, personal protection equipment. Okay? I would say we barely even have it in the software field yet. We're barely there. So we have a long way to go.